Welcome to edX Space of Virtual Expo, and also in conjunction with this event, Blue Hope Big Blue Day. Herewith, I hope you do enjoy the last session where the panelists actually joined together to discuss on a new rewild and carbon and plastic app called the Equalizer. And for this particular session, of course, we will be touching on plastic ocean, plastic detectives, and also water solution. And this session will be moderated by Simon Christopher, which is the founder of Blue Hope, and also Monica Chin, co-founder of Blue Hope Sabah. Without any further ado, let me just pass over the batons to both Simon and Monica. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nora.
Thank you, Nora.
Great to be here, and thank you for tuning in, everyone from around the world, and from Sabah and Malaysia, and hopefully other parts of the world later today. I'm delighted to have a distinguished panel, international panel. We have His Excellency Charles Hay, the British High Commissioner from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you, Charles. Great to have you here. And we also have Siti, the Senior Assistant Director General of Sabah Education Department, who's joining us. And then we have David Monnier, the founder and chairman of FontoDeVivo, a water filtration unit that we are looking to roll out here in Sabah and across Malaysia over the next few months and years. And then last but not least, we have represented the youth of Sabah, Jack Christopher, who is here going to talk about the rollout of the Plastic Oceans UK series that we have just rolled out. We've just had converted into Malay with Karin that features Sir David Attenborough. So we've got an exciting hour, and what I'll do is I would like to pass on to Charles just to give a slight overview on the history of the Blue Hope campaign and the British High Commission's involvement, and of course the the Plastic Oceans education materials, which we've very much been doing with the British High Commission with all of your help, Charles. Maybe you could we can kick off with that.
Well, thank you very much, Simon, and thanks very much everybody for joining us, and to everybody who's joining us from around the world. And this is the wonderful thing about these webinars that we're all so used to now, that we find that we get people tuning in from all sorts of unexpected places. So welcome everyone. It's really been one of the high points of my nearly 2 years now here as High Commissioner, to be working so closely with so many wonderful people on the really important issue of plastics, and particularly plastics in the ocean. Before I say just a few words about that, let me just say that today is a very, very significant day on the whole wider climate change and sustainability side, because today there is a virtual Leaders Ambition Summit, which is being chaired by my Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and it's marking the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement. Now, as I think all of you will know, and probably a number of people watching will know, the UK is the chair of the COP26 Conference of the Parties next year in November, in almost exactly a year's time in Glasgow. And we have a huge set of ambitions for achievement at the COP. And so today is an important day where the leaders of, I think, about 70 countries are setting out really ambitious plans for reduction of carbon. Now, what has that got to do with plastic, you may say? Well, I think it's all linked to the same very, very big picture about the sustainability and protection of our planet, because plastics is just another part of that same jigsaw puzzle. Now, to come back to what I said at the beginning, we've been really fortunate to be able to work with Simon and others to set up what we call Blue Hope. And Blue Hope really started on World Oceans Day. And it's a really important channel, I think, to raise people's awareness of plastic. We've been working with people like Joe Ruxton, and we'll be hearing from Joe a bit later on and seeing some of her films. Because there is Malaysia is definitely one of the key points for plastic pollution. And you see it, unfortunately, pretty much everywhere you go. But I think the thing that's really struck me as I've been getting more involved in this is how much of the plastic pollution we don't actually see, we're not actually aware of, but it is there. And we will see a bit more of that later on as we watch one of the films. If I can just draw out a couple of other things that we've been doing here. There is a thing called the Commonwealth Clean Oceans Alliance, which brings together the Commonwealth countries, which have extensive maritime and ocean interests. And we are very much hoping that Malaysia will sign up to that. And that brings together these Commonwealth countries to share expertise and best practice in how we can reduce plastic pollution in the oceans. We've also been working with a British NGO called RAP, along with business and government, to try to reduce the amount of plastic packaging that goes into our daily lives. And in Malaysia, there was a very big bilateral issue between the UK and Malaysia, and not just the UK, but a number of other countries, where we discovered that plastic waste was being shipped, often illegally, from countries like the UK and brought to Malaysia. Now, some of it was being brought for recycling, but an awful lot of it was not, it turned out. And I'm delighted that we were able to work really closely with the Malaysian Ministry for the Environment to ship back some 40 containers full of mixed plastic waste, which was shipped back to the UK to be dealt with properly in the UK by the people that should have dealt with it and should never have shipped it here in the first place. And I think that's a great example of our governments working together to tackle the scourge of plastic that is in the wrong place. So let me stop there, Simon, and I've no doubt we'll come back to some of those issues a bit later on. But thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this webinar.
Thank you so much, Charles. That's great news. There's lots of movement on the ground here in Malaysia, all over the world, and this is really an exciting time as we embrace the reality that plastic now has value, and so people are starting to realize this. And so as we enter UNESCO Ocean Decade, what we're doing here in Malaysia is extremely exciting, and thank you so much from British High Commission for all your support so far. I'll just pass over to Monarch, I think, my partner here on the ground, amazing lady who's been diving for the last 20 years and engaging with the communities. Maybe you could just tell us a bit about why you're here, Mon, and just talk about the recent news that we've just had announced, or we're in the process of announcing. Over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi everybody for tuning. Thank you for tuning in Blue Hope Big Blue Day here. So I'm a co-founder of Blue Hope, and been working closely with all the local community here in Borneo, Sabah. So we're gonna announce a very good news that a special collaboration with the Sabah Education Department, which is represented by Puan Siti Hanim, also in the position of a Senior Assistant Director General of Sabah Education Department. So we are so proud to announce that and thankful for FontoDeVivo, Mr. David, that support us in collaboration of this clean drinking water and all this plastic ocean education movement in Sabah, Borneo. So Puan Siti Hanim has been really passionate in all the education department material on conservation, the environmental awareness for all the children in Sabah as well, especially the education director Sabah as well, hoping that more people can come in to help them to reach out to all the school and students around Borneo. So yeah, we are so happy that this collaboration has been accepted. And yeah, maybe Puan Siti Hanim, you have something to say? You are mute, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. I don't have much comment here, but I just want to say thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to Blue Hope, and thank you to FontoDeVivo. Thank you.
Okay, that's all, Puan. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we really hope that we can contribute, Blue Hope here in Sabah, we can contribute more, not only to education department, but to our community, coastline, islander, rural, from, like I said, from the top of the mountain to the Greenland river to the deep sea. Yeah, so we hope that we can encourage more and welcome more people, and let's do more. Let's solve the problem, make plastic one of the valuable things in the economy. I mean, in the how to say, the business, the currency, and restore back the economy here in Borneo.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Martin.
So yeah, over to you, Simon. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Siti. It's really exciting. Looking forward to getting things going next year. So I think what I'd like to do is just hark back to the amazing work of Joe Ruxton and her team at Plastic Oceans. Joe, Plastic Oceans UK. I've known Joe for 15, 20 years when in our previous work with the BBC. And she's really one of the first pioneers in terms of bringing the realities and the perils of plastic into people's minds and attention. And you can see her work on Netflix with a film called A Plastic Ocean. And she really kickstarted this movement. So we're delighted to be working with Joe. She's been doing a lot of the education with the British, within the British curriculum, and working with companies and governments, and invited all around the world to talk about plastic. And so she was a perfect partner for us to get things going with Blue Hope. And what we've done is we've taken on board the amazing little short series that they've got going, which features the legendary Sir David Attenborough. And they've done a great little series that basically brings the realities of plastic into everyone's minds, all young and old. And this is really the inspiration behind Blue Hope was really the words of Sir David and other legendary conservationists, people like Dr. Sylvia Earle. We realized that David has been bringing the wildlife into our living rooms for 50, 60, 65 years, and it's really about passing the baton to youth. And so the Plastic Ocean series really speaks to the youth, because people aren't going to listen to myself or Monica or Charles, but they'll listen to Jack, and they'll listen to the youngsters, and we'll listen to our kids. And the behavior change has to start at home. Whatever happens at the high levels, policy change, COA, Commonwealth, Clean Oceans Alliance, what the bottom line is, it starts with each and every one of us, and us doing things in the home and changing the way we live and consume. So with that said, what I'd like to do is just play. Unfortunately, Jo can't be there with us. She's very busy doing what she's doing in the UK, but she sends all her best, and she's going to just say hi. I think we've a little video message from Jo in the UK. We just play the first video, please. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Jo Ruxton. I'm founder of the UK charity Plastic Oceans, and I'm also the producer of the documentary A Plastic Ocean. Making that film took 8 years, and we travelled around the world, including to the centres of 3 oceans, to witness and document exactly what was happening there. When I started making the film, I had no idea that there was actually a threat to human health with plastic. I thought it was just an eyesore. And I learnt so much on that 8-year journey. And I met some amazing people, those who are affected by plastic in the environment, those that are trying to do something about it. But I think the most rewarding times I had was talking to children in schools and also at public events. And it made me realise that of all the people on the planet, the young generation are so important at helping us get this message across. Plastic was designed not to disappear, and we've made the mistake of making single-use items out of it. And once you understand that, it's very easy to make changes in your own life and to rethink every time we decide to use something that's made of so-called disposable plastic. The films that you're going to see today are taking that message a bit further, understanding plastic, understanding what it does, but most importantly, understanding why our oceans are so important, why they support the life not only of us on this planet, but every living thing, and why it's so important that we protect them. And now's our chance to turn around the damage that's being done to them around the world. I'm so pleased that our films have been translated into Bahasa, and I hope you'll enjoy them, and obviously that you're going to understand them so much better than me. Terima kasih.
So wonderful to have Jo joining us here. She's really an inspiration, and it's great to have the work of Plastic Oceans UK team. And so the idea is that we essentially take that story and we bring it to the youth and communities and everyone globally, because it's a unified message, it's a unilateral message. Plastic is so ubiquitous, it's all over the world. And so that message can be translated, and the great work of Plastic Oceans UK can be translated into many different languages. And so, so what we decided to do was to start this off here in Malaysia, and we teamed up with Karin, who is a well-known actress, environmental campaigner, and she's very passionate about plastic. And she's also extremely passionate about Malaysia's wildlife, particularly excited and passionate about trying to save tigers in Malaysia. And we're really delighted to have Maya on board on our movement. And so I'd just like to play a little message from Maya, who again, sorry she can't be with us, but she was here with us. She helped launch the series on World Children's Day last month. And we just got a little short message from Maya here. We just play the next video, please.
Hi Simon and team, I am really excited that we're finally launching Plastic Ocean series with the legendary Sir David Attenborough on World Children's Day. It is high time that Malaysian children understand the perils of plastic and understand how to live sustainably. Once again, well done guys for tackling the issue of plastic head on, and all the best to you for Sabah Plastic Neutral. I can't wait to go diving with you in Sipadan, and it'll happen one day. One day I'll get over there to Sabah. So in the meantime, take care, good luck, all the best, and lots of love.
Great to have Maya with us. She's a real serious, committed voice. And essentially what we're looking to do is to roll this out in other locations, but obviously it all starts here in Malaysia, starting off in Sabah. What I'd like to do, we have on bluehope.org, we have, so that's blue without an E, so BLUHOPE.org. We'll have all of these different languages at the moment. We've got English, we've got Spanish, and the Malaysian version will be put on up online next week. What we're going to do is just play an English version now, one of the episodes, which is called What is Plastic? But tonight, after this episode, at 7 o'clock, you'll be able to see all three films, Our Oceans, What is Plastic, and Plastic Pollution. They're very powerful little films. And then the idea is that we roll this out across 10,000 schools, millions of kids over the next few months and into next year. But what I'd like to do is just play one of these episodes, What is Plastics? It's 5 minutes long, and you can get a sense of the kind of the messaging we're looking to roll out over the next few months and beyond. If we could play the next video, please. What is Plastic by Jo Ruxton's Plastic Oceans UK.
When I was a boy, I remember very vividly my teacher at school telling the school that a new era had dawned, that suddenly this marvelous new substance called plastic had been invented, and it was light and it was cheap and it could be used for a multitude of things. And so that in centuries to come, you'll look back on the 20th century and say that was plastic period. He was truer than he knew. because although it was all those advantages, the mere fact that it was indestructible meant that it could not be thrown away. Plastic manufacturers happily said, once you've used this, throw it away, discard it. There is no way, because plastic is so permanent and so indestructible that when you cast it into the ocean, or indeed into your dustbin, it does not go away.
So what exactly are plastics? Well, typically, they're organic polymers of high molecular mass, consisting of very long chains that are hard to break. Nearly all plastics come from oil and other fossil fuels. 8% of global oil production is for making plastics. Most materials change shape when force or temperature change is applied to them. This is called plasticity. Moldable polymers exhibit this property to such a degree that they are named plastics. Plastics can be separated into 7 different types. Each type has a different makeup and different qualities. Chemical substances called additives give plastics their specific properties. These additives include flame retardants, dioxins, BPA, and other chemicals that can leach out of plastic, contaminating air, soil, and water. These chemicals can also leach into food and drink that are packaged in plastic. Some of these chemicals are a risk to human health, causing cancers and endocrine disruption. Studies have shown this affects fertility and causes development disorders in children. Plastic is very stable, moldable, durable, and easy to clean. This makes it a very useful material. For example, it delivers great benefits to the medical profession as a cheap, strong material that is easy to sterilize, and even easier to throw away. And that's where the problem really starts. Because plastic doesn't break down like biodegradable materials. Its durability is its greatest asset, but also the reason it has become such a big environmental problem. When plastic is thrown away, it doesn't go away. It just breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces, and those pieces stick around for a very long time. Some plastic that was made over 70 years ago is still around today, in our landfills and the ocean. Once made, plastic is difficult to get rid of, if not properly dealt with. When plastic reaches the ocean, the sun's UV rays and saltwater make it brittle. Thrown about by the ocean waves, plastic items begin to break into smaller and smaller pieces. Eventually, they become microplastics. Measuring just 5 millimeters or less in diameter, these tiny, abundant microplastic pieces make their way into the marine food chain and pose a serious threat to ocean life. Plastic itself is not the problem. It's our attitude to how we use it that makes it such a problem material. We need to change our throw-away attitude, and we can start by using much less plastic in our daily lives. We also need to stop producing single-use plastic items, ensuring that when we do use it, we have a good reason. We need better design and production methods to make sure that the plastic that we do use can be easily reused and eventually recycled. Or better still, upcycled. Because plastic can only be recycled a limited number of times, so upcycling it into something that is not designed for single use is a much better way to bring unwanted plastic items into a circular economy. This will ensure that any plastic that we use cannot make its way into the ocean.
it's really a great movement and get people to start changing the way that we live our lives and start living more sustainably. Here in Sabah already, and there are already we've already got 11 schools that have signed up to a movement called Borneo Tanpa Plastic, which means plastic free. And with that, I'd like to introduce our final panelist, Jack Christopher, who is from Kinabalu International School, who are one of the first schools to take up this program. So maybe Jack, could you just talk us through about just a few questions for you, really? What do you think of the Plastic Oceans UK film? What do you think? What's the message all about? Maybe tell us.
I mean, the Plastic Ocean UK films with Sir David Attenborough are all very educational and powerful. I mean, it really tells us about the importance of the ocean and how there is huge need for behavioral change. I truly believe it's going to be a challenge, but we must keep trying. This is just the beginning because plastic now has value.
Sure. And I think that's the exciting thing. What we're looking to do is to flip over the new plastic neutral movement or platform. It's the reality that plastic now does have value, and so we're going to kickstart circular collection movements across Sabah, and this is very meaningful, particularly now because of COVID. So in terms of plastic pollution, Jack, I mean the ill effects from plastic pollution, can you just sum up in your mind what they're all about? What's so bad about plastic? Or what's your take home from the Plastic Ocean series?
I mean, plastic pollution, unfortunately, it is unavoidable. It's everywhere and it's really affecting the environment and our lives. So sadly, I mean, we've created this ill effect. I mean, for example, using single-use plastics.
Yeah, and that's the point. They just haven't had value. So straws and plastic cups and plastic cutlery, it just gets used and thrown away. So what are the next steps? What do you think? What's the way forward?
I mean, I usually believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, through education, awareness, activities, media, and new platforms and campaigns like the Sabah Plastic Neutral, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Definitely. Thanks, Jack. Well, that's great to hear you say that. It's all about the youth, as I say.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
And very, very exciting. What I'd like to do now is just flip over. We're halfway through our session. I would like to flip over this conversation to the new plastic water movement that we've just starting. We're just about to start with Sabah Education Department, and as we started talking to the various schools and principals, we found that everyone really wanted to basically sorry, I'm on looking at a whale tail there. Sorry. Everyone wanted to go plastic neutral and stop using plastic bags. They've stopped selling them in the canteen. But when we started talking about plastic bottles, that was where everyone drew a breath and said, oh, well, we can't do anything about that because we're just not able to provide safe, clean drinking water. So that became the real reality. And we found that if we could take care of that water problem, then the school's dependency on plastic bottles wouldn't be there. And so we kind of flipped it over, and now's the time to introduce David from FontoDeVivo, because this is his world. And when I was introduced to David a few months ago, I was really I was just completely blown away. I thought, you know, this was indicative of the plastic issue. Everyone knows about plastic, but in fact, it's a much bigger problem. And this is all about water security. So if I could pass the ball to you, David, and just you can tell us a bit about FontoDeVivo, and we got a video to play. When you're ready, we can play that as well. Over to you, David.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. Yeah, actually, what happened is I'm myself a humanitarian worker. I've been working around the world. I don't know if you see me well. I'm sorry, the sun is moving where I am, and okay. And
Don't worry.
Yeah, and actually, we designed this water purifier with the main French NGOs that probably some of you know, like Doctors Without Borders and the French Red Cross and others. And actually, at the beginning, we saw that it would be a useful tool for emergency and humanitarian situations like they are working, try to fight. And as Simon said, 3 months ago, we got in touch and we realized that, of course, it's a perfect tool as well for schools. And it definitely makes sense to use that as a tool to not only provide access to clean water, but to reduce the use of plastic. And that, I must say that Simon opened up my mind, and I realized that we've developed a product that can be used for much more than emergencies. And I must say that that's also a funny part, because we've seen the movie earlier, and in the movies they were saying that there are bad use of plastic and good use of plastic, and I've got to admit that our purifier is made out of plastic, but it's fully recyclable. It's made, I would say, with the right plastic, the plastic that you can use for food contact. And it's also something that we designed from the beginning as a repairable. So that's not something that one will throw away quickly. That's something will last for long, and we hope that we'll find a way to recycle it at the end of its life. So this is what we've done. Once again, we are super excited here in France to see that our product can have a much more bigger impact than what we thought at the beginning. Not saying that providing access to drinking water is not already something amazing for those who are deprived of clean water, but if it can add another layer and help to protect the ocean, that's really thrilling.
Thanks, David. I think it might be what I'd love to do is play your video, if that's okay. Just to show the water filter in action. If we could play the video, that would be great. Thank you.
I am David Monnier, FontoDeVivo's co-founder and president. It took us over 2 years of R&D to produce the Oreza, a durable family water purifier. The Oreza is meant to fit the needs of INGOs, local organizations and governments willing to provide access to safe drinking water in rural areas and during emergencies responses. Together with the technical support of some of the main French INGOs, we designed a long-lasting autonomous purifier. Long-lasting because made with top-quality French ultrafiltration membranes, but also because of a patented built-in backwash system. Our main goals are to enable users to be self-sufficient water-wise, to offer a nexus solution able to cover access to drinking water from emergency to development, and to improve the social impact of humanitarian operations. The Oreza is made in France, repairable and recyclable. It is made to last years without need of energy and spare parts in order to limit its environmental impact. We want to massively deploy the ORESA all over the world in order to support the UNDG objectives, aiming at providing a universal access to potable water before 2030.
¿Lo puedes tomar? Pruébalo a ver.
Wow, that's what I felt was wow when I first saw that. I mean, it just a couple of questions, because this is the questions that obviously everyone asks, and the education department and everything. You know, I think the thing that is so incredible is the simplicity, David. So what I mean in terms of coming up with a system, to be clear, there's no electricity, so it doesn't require an electricity.
No.
And what about the filtration process? Are we going to have to put filters in it every month or so? What happens there?
Yeah, to start with, it seems simple, but it's you know, it's quite a high-tech technology inside its ultrafiltration membranes, and it's one of the top quality ultrafiltration membranes you can find in the market, which are made in France, luckily for me. But this technology is used widely around the world for many applications, starting from providing access to clean water in cities. In France, it's a very well known technology, but it can be used for wine, for milk, for whatever you want to purify, really. Sorry, I forgot your question.
I was wondering whether we're going to have to be getting new filters every month, and whether what's the sort of maintenance.
Yeah, because I mean, because in Borneo, I mean in Sabah, we do that how to say that thingy with the covered, and then that white color round filter things. You need to change it when it's get brown or darkish, things like that. So you need to turn it out and then buy and change new one. So we threw away that dirty one. So yeah, that's the question with the community here. When I show them your video, they don't believe it, that can drink immediately.
Yeah, actually we patented a built-in backwash system that one can use every day or every now and then, depends on the quality of the fed water, to be honest. And then it helps to remove the clogging of the natural clogging of the membranes, really, because the membranes holes are so tiny that they are going to naturally clog. Yes. And because of this backwash system we built in, you unclog the membranes, and then you will have a long life cycle. Of course, nothing lasts forever. So at one point, you know, you will have to change the membranes, but that's something we will make sure that will be easily accessible at one point, and we don't want those membranes, I mean the used one, to be thrown away. So we'll make sure that they can be exchanged with against a new one, you know. But before you see that need, you will have to you know purify a lot of liters of water. Trust me.
Yeah, sure. And one last question. I know what we saw in the video was one that was very, very rural. So it's using sort of streams or river water, or maybe well water, which we have here, and certainly in Timor-Leste, because we're excited about rolling that out in Timor-Leste as well, where we have our plastic neutral movement there, and over a third of the country has no access to water whatsoever. So what do you see the mechanism in terms of taking that system and applying it to a tap? Is that easy? What would be involved in that? Because obviously you've got a very rural humanitarian application. How would we make that more suitable for schools with water, but not water coming through a tap, but not safe to drink?
Yeah, I mean, there are two things. If you have no tap, I would recommend to have someone in charge of pumping twice a day, for example, and you can pump in a water delivery device, like a large water tank with a tap, maybe. covered with something that is, the water is safe, and then the kids can come and help themselves, you know, like a normal tap. And if you've got access to a tap in the school, we are going to deliver the what we call the tap kit, and it's going to be only a tap connection between the tap and the purifier. And in that case, you won't need anymore to pump manually, and the pressure of the tap will be enough to go through the membranes and purify the water.
Yeah, because some of the school here, I think 800 over school that have purifying water from the water tap. So those schools, they don't need to be pumped anymore. But we have water resources. They pump the water from the river, from the well, and then from the stream, some of the schools. So this kind of school, they need to pump. So yeah, we will work on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried.
Yeah, it seems like so friendly user, you know, so friendly user. Even people are living by the river, you know, the river community, which they don't have clean water, drinking water because of the flood or landslide, things like that. So this system is really workable. It's so helpful, David. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I come in with a question?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm just fascinated. It's the first time I've seen this system, and I have to say my chapeau to you for inventing something that, I mean, it looks incredibly simple, but like everything that's incredibly simple, I can see that it's taken a fantastic amount of work to make it usable and robust.
Yes.
And, it looks incredible. I have one question. I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can it deal with salt water?
No, it can't.
That's my same question as well.
No, I mean, we choose to. I mean, the issue of salty water is not the main issue when it comes to humanitarian operation. The main issue is to fight waterborne disease, which means virus and bacteria. So if you want to go for desalinization, you need to have access to electricity or any kind of electricity, actually. And you can't do by hand pumping. And we wanted to make something simple for most of the case that the NGOs are dealing with. But we are working on a solution probably by next year to help those with salty water.
Yeah, it's great. Wow. Wow, it's gonna help the island, the resort, the people in the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I might do, just hearing Charles talking, I'd just like to. We obviously, as Charles mentioned, it's a very special day. This. We have a big climate talks over in London at the moment, which are supported by obviously many governments. One of which is from your motherland, David. And we have spoken with the French ambassador here about the collaboration, and he wanted to join in and just give a message. He can't be here, but excited about what we're going to get going here. So he just wanted to say a few words, and I'm going to just play, if we could play the words from the ambassador, who's also based in Kale, obviously. Sorry he can't be here, but he does have some words to say. If we could play the next video, that would be great. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry that I can't be with you live this afternoon. The topic you are discussing is very important, I think indeed vital to many species, not least our own. Let me start by congratulating Blue Hope for their Sabah plastic neutral initiative, and let me also commend FontoDeVivo for combining ingenuity with invention and coming up with a simple scheme to provide access to drinkable water. Let me say a few words to explain why the fight against plastic waste in the oceans is a major issue in French foreign policy. France sees itself as a maritime power. It is one of few nations with access to the 5 oceans, with the second largest economic exclusive zone, and sees itself also as an island nation in the area that stretches from the coasts of Eastern Africa to the Pacific shores. Think of La Réunion Island, think of New Caledonia, think of French Polynesia. But oceans, of course, are a common good to mankind. They provide climate regulation to our planet, they provide livelihood, they provide food, and not least, they provide beauty. So they need to be rescued, and the fight to save oceans from plastic waste has to be part and parcel of the fight against climate change. Plastics are one of the ocean's greatest enemies. I have looked at some statistics that I have here with me, and frankly, they are absolutely staggering. Less than 1/5 of plastics are actually recycled. Every square kilometer in the ocean has an average of 13,000 pieces of plastics in it. 412 kilos of plastic are dumped into the oceans every second. More plastic will be present in the oceans than fish in 2050. That's only 30 years from now. 1 million seabirds and over 100,000 sea animals die every year because of plastic pollution. 267 animal species are likely to ingest plastic, and so are we. In short, the growth of plastic production has now completely outstripped the abilities of waste management. If nothing is done, we will be facing a continent of trash bigger than Europe 20 years from now. So we need to act. We need to act at all levels and in each and every way. There are no big and no small efforts, but efforts are needed. In France, we have decided to phase away the use of plastic. We started in 2016 by banning the single-use plastic bags, and every year, by law, we are now banning new categories of plastic objects. So next year it will be cutlery, the year after that it will be bottles, etc., etc. We all can make a difference, and this is why I would like to congratulate Blue Hope for their initiative, and I would also like to congratulate Sabah. Thank you very much for your attention.
Wow.
That's special, so special. So we're getting to the end of our session, and I think it would be good just to have a little wrap up from everyone. So what I might do, Charles, could I just pass the ball to you just for one last word before we wrap up? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Simon. I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about. Well, I think one thing that has come out really very clearly is the point that plastic has real value, and so much of that value is being lost at the moment because it's not being recycled. Because plastic is in itself, if you like, a sort of wonder product. I mean, I remember even back in my childhood, we didn't have plastic bottles, so you had to buy things in big, heavy glass bottles. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine going back to that now. I'm not that old, by the way. It wasn't that long ago. So we need to find a way of living with plastic, of using its good qualities. And that comes back to something that Jack pointed out, the need for behavioral change and the need to move away from all the single-use plastics. And French ambassador, my colleague, he came up with some really important statistics on that. One that really sticks with me, I think it was from Joe Ruxton, was that if Shakespeare had used a single-use coffee stirrer, that coffee stirrer would still be around on the planet today. And that, for me, underlines the point that plastic is a fabulous material. We just use it very often in absolutely the wrong way, and we have to change that.
Yeah, so true, Charles. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for being here with us. It means a lot. And one Siti, I know you're very supportive. Thank you so much. I think a final word from you before we sign off. Same again. Looking forward to working together, I'm sure. Yeah. Before we all close for Christmas and get this going next year. Just the words, please.
Yeah. Once again, I want to say thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to Blue Hope and thank you to FontoDeVivo for all your kindness to us, to all the schools which will receive this what we call
Water filter.
water
Filtration
filtration.
system. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Juan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Appreciate it. Thank you. Jack, can I just ask you to give your thoughts from the youth, from Sabah's youth, the school? What do you think? What's your take home from this session?
It's gonna be great, right? It'll be wonderful. And also, could you please check out the plastic detective sheets? It really shows how much plastic we have and don't need. It's definitely a learning process. Let's do this, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. We really hope that next year, in our next webinar, we want more children, more youth like you stand up and speak out. You know, we hope that we can provide a stage for all of you next year. Finger crossed. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack. David, we're looking forward to working together with you. It's a great collaboration and lots of exciting times ahead. Just a few words from you, please.
As I said earlier, I mean, you know, for us, it's you are a game changer, you know, in a sense that we are going to explore other way to use our purifier, and you know, and when we realize that access to drinking water has to be linked with other major issue like plastics, and that's for us a game changer, and we definitely going to change the way we are going to work in the next years, and thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thanks, David. Mon, over to you. What's your thoughts? Give us some blue love.
Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you, David. It's really like you said, it's a game changer. It's really these things will really reduce our plastic pollution in Borneo tremendously, I believe, so much. And it's just a matter of time, because we have so much to preserve here in Borneo. The one and only Borneo Sabah in the entire world. So yeah, I just can't wait to have this product come into Borneo. Thank you so much, David, FontoDeVivo, and Charles for this wonderful opportunity, connecting the dot. Yeah, and thanks everyone. Let's be the game changer.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, we've got we're starting it here. The movement starts here in Sabah. We're calling it Sabah Plastic Neutral, which reflects the ability to change the way we live with more sustainably, rethink plastic. And this is following Timor-Leste last year. And we're going to try and kickstart a really big global movement. It all starts plastic value chain. Incredible core partners here in Anafia and the villagers out on the islands who have to suffer all the plastic coming from the rivers, and they're the sort of end of the chain. But the other end of the chain, we're working with some core partners like Borneo Waste Industries, who are about to start creating an integrated waste management facility with an MRF, which is a facility allows them to actually sort out plastic on an industrial scale. And so this is really important in terms of monetizing our waste for Sabah, and is bringing that real tangible share value to everyone. And that's going to be really important over the next few years as we rethink how we're going to integrate with nature, the natural world, and biodiversity. So that's what Blue Hope's all about. But it starts with youth. So thanks, Jack, for being here. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, David. Thank you very much to ADEX, the platform. couldn't be doing this without you. We've got a great reach to all the ocean lovers and divers and nature lovers. And we're delighted to bring to you the Big Blue Day. And we're going to end with a little sequence of films. We're going to play the Malaysian series of Sabah Plastic Neutral in half an hour, all 3 episodes. So you'll be able to see those. And then we'll take them online, so you can send them to all your friends. And then we're going to play a VR from Siparan, virtual reality video. So you can go for a dive on Siparan, almost getting wet, not quite getting wet, but we bring Siparan into your living rooms. And then with an amazing film from Timor-Leste, which has just been nominated a Hope Spot. And it is a sign of a way where we're all heading over here in Sabah as well. So with that said, thank you so much. Thanks, Charles, for being with us. Thank you, Juan Siti. Thanks, David. Thanks, Jack. And take care. Have a good rest of your day and happy weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, David. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you.
Good to see you all. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Bye.
thank you.
See you
Bye. Be
soon.
safe.
Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.